Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel Investment and Knowledge with Tanvi Sharma. Here I have mentioned my Instagram account. You can follow me there to connect. So today we are going to cover a very important topic, that is Government of India Act 1935, and this act is very important for all the exams you are preparing for. So the source of information I am referring here is M. Lakshmikant 6th edition. This video is going to be quite long, like earlier in my channel you will get the small videos of the act of about 5 to 6 minutes, or max to max it's 8 minutes, but this is going to be quite long because this act is very significant. Now you will ask me that why this act is so significant, because our present Indian constitution is also known as the replica of the Government of the India Act 1935. This is so because number of provisions has been taken from this act. That is why it's very important to understand this act. So after the Crown Rule, that means after 1857, from the Government of India Act of 1858, I have covered all the major acts in my YouTube channel. If you want to study any of them, you can refer or you can move to my account and get the videos. So today we are going to cover Government of India Act 1935. This act is also known as the second milestone towards a responsible government of India. This act is very lengthy and very detailed, which includes about 321 sections and 10 schedules. Now I have a question for you. You have to write down in a comment section that how many articles, parts and schedules are there in Indian constitution at present. Now you will say that why the Government of India Act of 1935 is so lengthy and so detailed. So you can say that the Government of India Act is a combined act which include the recommendations of all these four reports. The one is the Simon Commission's report. Commission gave its report in 1930. Now after the Simon Commissions, there were 3 roundtable conferences, so there were recommendations from there as well. Then I have told you in the previous lecture in the Government of India Act of 1919 that there was a white paper on constitutional reforms. It is the name of a report which was based on the 3rd roundtable conference. So this also suggests some constitutional reform, so this was also considered, and this report was submitted to the Joint Select Committee. So on the basis of that, the Joint Select Committee gave its report. So finally, on the basis of all these 4 reports, a final act came into being that was known as the Government of India Act 1935, due to which this act is so lengthy and so detailed. That is why it's so bulky, including 321 sections and 10 schedules. It's very important to remember the total sections and the schedules that are in the Government of India Act 1935. Now I'm going to discuss some features of this act. So first of all, it provides for the establishment of All India Federation, consisting of British India provinces and the princely states as units. When the India was the colony of the Britishers, so our India was divided into 2 parts. The one is the British India, which was directly under the control of the Britishers, and then other was the princely states, where the Britishers has the indirect control as they were kings and queens, but ultimately it was under the control of the Britishers. So first of all, it talks about for the establishment of the Indian Federation, in which the units will be British Indian provinces and the princely states. So the most important thing behind the formation of All India Federation, that was the division of power between the center and state in terms of 3 lists. Now for example, at present we have 3 lists. The one is the union list, state list and the concurrent list. So on that time there were 3 lists. One was the federal list, on which the central government has the authority to make laws. It includes 59 subjects. After that there was provincial list, on which the state has the power to make laws. It includes 54 subjects. And the later on is the concurrent list, which includes 36 subjects, where the center and state both has equal authority to make the laws. After that we have residuary powers that were vested in the hand of the Viceroy. Like for example, at present residuary powers are now in the hand of the central government. Now you will ask, what are the residuary powers? There are so many topics that are not included in our federal list, or that are not included in the provincial list or the concurrent list. So on that issues the Viceroy has the authority to make laws. But the most important thing about this the Indian Federation, it was that the federation never came into being because princely states did not join it. So you can say that it is just a proposed, this system was just proposed. It was never came into being because princely states never joined it. After that they abolished diarchy. I have already told you the meaning of diarchy. Diarchy is a Greek word which means double rule. So it ended diarchy in the provinces and introduced the provincial autonomy and give them the powers to administer themselves in their defined spheres. Now governor has the power to take the decisions on the advice of the ministers that were responsible to the provincial legislature. This system came into being in 1937, which means 2 years after the act of 1935, but it was discontinued in 1939. After that, after abolishing diarchy in the provinces, they introduced diarchy in your central level, and they consequently divided the federal subjects into two, that is the reserved and the transfer subjects, but similarly the provision did not came into operation. After that, it introduced bicameralism in 6 out of 11 provinces. Now what is bicameralism? Bicameralism means having two houses. For example, in the center we again have two houses. The one is the Rajya Sabha and another is the Lok Sabha. Rajya Sabha is known as the upper house and the Lok Sabha is known as the lower house. And similarly in the states we have legislative council and legislative assembly, which is often called Vidhan Sabha or Vidhan Parishad. Now I am going to say the names of the 6 provinces on which the bicameralism was introduced. So it was Bengal, Bombay, Madras, Bihar, Assam and United Province. However, there were so many restrictions placed on them, like their system was changed to bicameralism, but there were so many restrictions on them. After that, they extend communal representation to SCs, women and labor. I have previously, in my previous lecture of Government of India Act of 1919, I have already told you about the communal reward. So later on it was extended to the women's and laborers as well, including SCs. Later on, they abolished the Council of India that was established under the Government of India Act of 18